Hello, welcome back to Salty Sunshine, where I talk some shiz. This is your host, Lisa, and Brian Walsh is found guilty. I talked about this case last week, and he was just, I guess the trial was like super short, like 2 or 3 weeks. And since the last update, um, this guy Jem, which was Anna's boss, the wife, so Brian and Anna Walsh, he was on trial, found guilty of first degree murder, and it was 3 counts: first degree murder, improper disposal of the body, and lying to the police. And I thought it was so interesting because the jury did not know, they were not told that he pled guilty to dismembering her body and lying to the police. So they found him guilty in spite of that, which is crazy because it made me nervous. I'm like, well, if they don't know that, they can think, well, maybe he didn't kill his wife. Like, where's the proof? And I'm not sure how that, if they even knew. I know they have access. They're told not to look at social media, but maybe they did see it because it's everywhere. I don't know how they control that with the jury. How do they know if they're looking? How can you not look? If you're just like scrolling, you're going to see something. I don't know. But last minute, he decided not to testify. And her friend, Anna's friend, Alyssa, that lived, she was a neighbor in DC. She knew about the affair with the realtor. And she said that Anna was super upset because she couldn't bring her kids and husband to live with her. But it's like, but you were having an affair. People that have affairs are messy, and they don't deserve to die, obviously, but you're looking for trouble. Let's put it that way. I mean, especially with some loser guy, right? Because people can't handle when you embarrass them that way. And then they lose their mind, like when they're researching and they're thinking this or that. It's not right. You should always avoid cheating. Just leave the relationship, I think, is the best route. They had multiple videos of him on camera at a CVS, at Home Depot, all this stuff. Since he was on house arrest for the fraud case he was dealing with while all of this stuff was happening, he was convicted of selling fake Andy Warhol paintings, and he was on house arrest. So he had to request time out of the house to take the kids to school or doctor's appointments, blah, blah, blah. So he requested New Year's Day, the day that Anna went missing. He requested to be out of the house 3 to 9 to take his mother's surgery, but he was found at all these places buying hammers and all this crap to dismember her. So, anyways, that's amazing that he was found guilty. I don't think he's been sentenced, but he'll probably, have some sort of a life sentence, no parole type of thing. I'm just shocked that they don't make him disclose where the body parts were. I mean, obviously, maybe he threw them in the dumpster and they can't, but still, like, say it. Where maybe he buried them in the yard or something. I don't know. This has been a crazy week. The Australia shooting for the first day of Hanukkah, that was, it's just so sad. This gun situation, I know I'm naive, and I think most people, you don't really think about things, and you get older, you're like, wait a second. The government, here, there, everywhere, they don't want to fix the gun issue. It's obviously a lot of, political shit and lobbying and money involved and power, because this could be fixed so easily. And it just keeps happening, and it's almost like it just keeps getting worse and worse. There's a video of the guy that had a fruit stand came up behind in the parking lot and tackled one of the shooters. I think there were 2 shooters, and he's a hero. I think he's in the hospital, and we need more men like that. That was really a great moment. And then the Brown College in Rhode Island shooting. I mean, it makes you just never want to put the news on. I'm so glad my kid's out of college. Like, I don't know how the parents do it these days. If my kid was still in school, I think I'd freak out every single day. It's just, with all the technology we have, like, we don't have any. In the school, there should not be one armed anything. There should be some sort of technology they could tell right away. They should also have technology to tell when people have like those large guns, that those automatic weapons. They should have drones like that could detect them right away, who's carrying it, like tackle him and like question him. I don't know. I feel like with all the technology, it's like all we have is like Chat GPT, like big whoop. You can ask them how to break up with your boyfriend. There's no real like useful technology. for the actual real world problems we have in today's world. Um, before I get into Reiner and his sudden death with his wife, his son killed him. I haven't been watching much TV, but What Fun on Prime with Michelle Pfeiffer, I give it a 3 out of 5. Not because it's not like that, like a really terrible movie, like, oh, it's so stupid, how could they have made this? It's more like it was missing something, they missed the mark, and it was kind of boring. But it was good, and it was well made, but kind of boring, if that makes sense. But a fun pastime if you're looking for a holiday movie. And unpredictable. It's not what you think it is. Stranger Things is always good on Netflix. It's such a comfort show, my 80s, 90s vibe, and I love it. I don't even know what's happening, but I love it. All the monsters and all the stuff they're doing. I'm like, I have no idea. And I watched all of them. So this last season, I'm a little confused. Maybe because so much time has passed, but I love that show. Everybody's talking about Rob Reiner and his wife. So they went to a Conan O'Brien holiday party, and they invited their son Nick, which is the one that was arrested for the murder of his parents. And apparently he was acting fanatic. He was acting crazy there, asking everyone, "Are you famous?" and being all crazy. So this kid has been in and out of rehab as early as like 15 years old, all the way to 22 years old. He was in 17 different rehabs. Now, I just can't imagine. I want to say this in a way that makes sense. I'm not trying to be mean, but these leftist Hollywood people, although Nick Reiner seems like a lovely guy, everybody loves him. They have nothing but wonderful things to say about him. He seems super loving. He seems whatever, fine. But the problem is, what sounds good isn't necessarily translate to real life, if that makes sense. So they have a son, Nick, that has struggles with drugs. He struggles with substance abuse. And I don't know what was happening in that house or how they handled it, but it doesn't seem like a firm hand was given at any point. Just throwing your kid back into rehab a million times. I mean, it seems to me there was more that was needed. Like, I don't know, like more discipline, more counts, like more actual therapy, more tough love, more. I mean, so first of all, he was at some point, I think he was like around the world in different places or around this nation, and he was like buying drugs and living on the street. Who knows? So how was he buying all these drugs? With what money? So that's my first point. Obviously, he was getting money from his family because he wasn't working. So where's the money from? Stuff like that. It's very sad dealing with toxic family members, alcoholism, drug use. There's a fine line between enough is enough. Like, I'm cutting you off. And it's not easy to do, but at the same time, that's all you can do because it almost gets worse when you enable. And yeah, I don't know. I don't know what the situation is. I don't want to, I'm just saying in general, like when loose parenting, like all this gentle parenting, I just feel like it really does destroy their kids. Like when they're super spoiled, everyone comes out into this world with their own personality. So you can have 3 kids and one is like, no matter what you do to them, you can destroy that kid's life. They're still going to be good because they're just, that's their personality. And then you have another one that's like so not good, and then it doesn't take a lot to like make them even worse, like stuff like that. So our personalities have a lot to do with how we end up in life and how good your kid comes out. And then what you do can tip them the wrong way or the right way. But this is really sad. So they went to that party. He was acting crazy. They had kind of like an argument. And then the dad and the mom went home. So Rob and Michelle are the mom and the dad. And apparently the one of the daughter lives across the street, and the Rob Reiner had a scheduled massage appointment. And when they came to the house the next morning to do the massage, they were knocking, knocking, knocking. No one's answering. There was, I think they said dogs are barking. And they said, there's something wrong. So they went to the daughter's house saying, can you get into the house and see if your parents are okay? And so the daughter went and found the scene with the parents dead, and the mother was still alive. So a few people have reported this. I'm not sure if this is true, but they're saying that and it makes sense though, because they're saying the mother was still alive. The ambulance came. The daughter got in the ambulance with her mom. And that's when the mom, before taking her last breath, said it was Nick. So it kind of makes sense that that's what happened, because how else did they know it was Nick? Um, I didn't see any camera footage from the house of Nick entering or leaving. I don't know. I'm sure they did have cameras. They must, right? In that huge house in Brentwood. But if that's actually what happened, so um what's his name? That knew them really well. On his podcast, he's the one that said that's what happened. And he's kind of like friends with the family, so it must be true. I think it makes sense, but we'll see. And that's like that was so sad. Like that daughter is just gonna be haunted by that memory. She must be going through actual hell right now, losing her parents and now her brother. That's just crazy. I don't know if they have other siblings, but the son is 32, and I don't know if he was drugged out of his mind, if he genuinely hated his parents, if they threatened to like cut him off. I know they wanted him to leave the house because he lived in the guest house, but that's not necessarily cutting him off, you know? I mean, obviously they had a lot of money, so I'm sure they weren't gonna leave him with nothing. It's really scary when you have a lot of money and you raise these kids, and it's kind of like the dream. You get successful and you have kids and you want to give them everything you didn't and make sure everything's okay, but you have to make sure those kids know from the time they're born that's not their money, and you don't have to do shit for them if you don't want. Like, I feel like that's the kind of attitude you got to give the kids to make them humble and not, and it should actually be true. You should be like, if you're a jerk off, I'm not giving you any, like, I will not give you anything. Like, don't mess with me. Like, that's how parents should be with their kids when you have a lot of money. In general, you should be like that, but especially if you don't have a lot of money, because especially guys, for some reason, can really turn out the wrong way. Really turn out the wrong way. And I mean, what is this guy doing being in this kind of situation since he's 15? You know, that just sounds like someone that was not supervised or had too much time on his hands with too much money. I don't know. Like, that's crazy. It's very, very sad. And my heart goes out to the family and the friends. I mean, he was obviously super loved. Like, this is everywhere. Everyone's talking about it. He's the one that directed When Harry Met Sally and a million other amazing films. And he does seem like a sweet guy. Like, you see him in interviews and he's just his aura. He's like a gentle aura, and his poor mom. But, well, that guy's life is ruined. And we'll see if the son Nick mentions anything that we don't know as far as like his thought process on why he did such a horrific thing to his parents. Imagine having kids and they take you out like that. I mean, let me tell you, being a parent is a thankless job. Thankless job. But that's why you have to be hard on your kids, in the sense that you can't let them turn into monsters. It seems rough while you're doing it, but it's the best thing for them. These kids need to get off their high horse and stop like thinking they own the place, because then they turn into this, or they could turn into this. The next story everyone's talking about is a football coach that's just, a tale as old as time. Fired Michigan football coach, Charger home invasion and stalking. This man is married with children. And I have to say, his wife looks kind of like his mistress. You know? He could have just like paid attention to his wife. Sherrone Moore. He barged his way into the apartment of the woman who he'd been having an affair with, threatened to kill himself after she reported the relationship to the school, and he lost his job. That's kind of an overreaction. What do you guys think? Holy shit. And he lost his job. He's not like a teacher that's living paycheck to paycheck and he lost his job. He's not gonna be able to pay his like mom's cancer stuff. Like he makes millions of dollars, so sure, it sucks, but it's not like he's out on his ass homeless. I'm sure he has savings. Um, and he did it to himself, you know? Who told him to have an affair at work with it was his assistant. It's just crazy. Yeah, it's a tale as old as time. The guy with his assistant. It's so cliche. Apparently, everyone in the school knew about it. It was super obvious. Apparently, allegedly, they said that somebody came and told him, look, we are hearing the rumors, so you either fire her or switch her to another department because this can't continue. And allegedly, he said, F no, like, no one else can have her. Like, she's mine. Guys, as smart as they are when they could be smart in business and stuff, they're very, very stupid. They're very, very stupid. They're more emotional than women sometimes when it comes to stuff like this. Because a woman would be like, all right, let's hide it well. Let's switch her departments. let's be smart about this. But no, not him. He led with his emotions all over the place, not giving a rat's ass about his wife and children and what's going to happen to them. And look, he lost his mind. And I think that's such an overreaction. I wonder if he was on some sort of medication himself. Because if he's going to kill himself, he told the prosecutor quoted Moore as telling the woman, I'm going to kill myself. I'm going to make you watch. My blood is on your hands. You've ruined my life. How so, sir? I'm sure you approached her. I mean, let's be real. Let's rewind the tapes. I'm sure you asked her out for a donut or a drink. I'm sure you were the aggressor in this situation. So how exactly did she ruin your life? Right? Shortly after losing his job, Moore stormed into the woman's apartment, then proceeded to draw a kitchen drawer, grabbed several butter knives, a pair of kitchen scissors, and began to threaten his own life. She was terrorized. A not guilty plea was entered, and he was released after a $25,000 bond. I want to know the conversation. Well, maybe the wife probably didn't even speak to him, and she's probably like, I have no words. I wonder if she knew. A lot of the times the wives know, or they suspect, and then it comes out. They're like, oh, not surprised. It's kind of crazy. He signed a 5-year contract with a base salary of $5.5 million. According to the terms of his deal, the university will not have to buy out the remaining years of his contract because he was fired for cause. He said Moore would absolutely comply with the judge's order for an additional valuation. Moore must wear a GPS tracking device, stay in Michigan, and abstain from alcohol. The next court hearing is January 22. I believe the girlfriend is still working at the school because if they fire her, then they can get sued because she has a case as far as her superior, her boss, took advantage of her. So she has a case against the school. So I think they're being careful and they haven't fired her yet. But who is she assisting if she's his assistant? So I don't know what kind of job she's doing. That's crazy. And all the comments that I see online, it's my pet peeve. It drives me crazy when people say she's just as liable, she should be fired, she broke up the home, she. I never blame a third party. Is she an asshole, immature, reckless? Sure. Is it her fault? Is she responsible in any way? Absolutely not. She's the third party. She is the one that is not married, is not involved in a relationship. I never blame a third party because yes, they may be a-holes, but they're not responsible a-holes, if that makes any sense. Like you're the one in the commitment, you're the one that had a responsibility to the other person, not the third party. I will always believe that. I will always say that. And if more people thought that way, we would put all the blame on the cheater and solely the cheater. It's so annoying when people call the third party, like if they're equally, how are they equally responsible? They're not equally married. They're not. Sorry. No. If they were both married, then they're equally responsible. If they were both in relationships, then they're equally responsible for the damage they cause. If they're just a single person that wants to act stupid and irresponsible, then they're not responsible only for the chaos they're bringing into their lives, but they're not responsible for the breakup of that other relationship. That drives me insane. I hate when people say that. And as far as the case of where they're working, he's her older boss. So it's on his shoulders to not act inappropriately with her. He has control over her. He's her boss. That also lies solely on him. Sorry. She's an innocent asshole party, if you want to call her that. She's stupid. She has no respect for people, but that's not elite. That's not being responsible for that. She's free to do what she wants. She's a single person. That's how I feel about that. So I'm in Miami, Florida, and on 8th Street here in Little Havana, a woman was found dead in a freezer at Florida Dollar Tree. This is a crazy, crazy story. This just happened the other day on 8th Street and 9th Avenue, a Dollar Tree. So this woman, 32-year-old Helen Maciel Garay Sanchez, she walked into a Dollar Tree on a Saturday night right before they were closing, and she kind of just like went to the back storage room before they closed and made her way to the freezer in the back and got in the freezer. So that's kind of, why would she do that? Was she on drugs? Like, I don't get it. And then the person that opened up the store in the morning found her naked inside that freezer dead. So did she die of just being in the freezer? I don't get it. Isn't that crazy? There's not a lot of detail. She was here visiting. She doesn't live here. I think they said Nicaragua. She lives in Nicaragua or Venezuela. Um, yeah, it's a mystery. She has like two kids and she was visiting and she just hops into a Dollar Tree before they close and is found dead and goes straight to the freezer. Like, how does that make sense? How do they even know she went straight to the freezer? And how did they not see her before they locked up? But she's Nicaraguan. So she lives in Nicaragua. She was here visiting with her kids. And this is what happened to her. That's so weird. And it's not the freezer. I think it's a freezer in the back. I don't think it's a freezer where they put the food like in the store. It's like a freezer where they keep the food in the back. Friends and family are now asking for a GoFundMe page, asking to help return Garay Sanchez back to Nicaragua for her funeral. Beyond her profession, she was a loving mother to two children. Loved ones also said Garay will be remembered for her strength, warmth, and unwavering love for her family. I mean, she must have been on something. And I want to know how she died. It was just like from being in the cold. Like, there's no information. We have nothing yet because this literally just happened this past weekend. Isn't that crazy? It's such a true crime filled time that we're going through. I just saw the latest of the Kardashians. I don't know if I should stop watching the Kardashians. I'm kind of like, I'm on the fence because, I'm grandfathered in, just like the housewives. And I'm not a quitter, but sometimes I am. And the thing is, I love hate the Kardashians because I feel I would still watch it if it was like it used to be. Just fun, reality, they're fighting, they're doing whatever. Now it's just like one big infomercial, and I can't. I can't with Kim. Kim gets on my last nerve for some reason because they're not being real. They don't talk about the real shit. They never talked about Diddy. Why don't they be like, shit, look what happened to Diddy? Like, they're so calculated and it's so obvious, and all it is showing their products. And it drives me nuts. Like, it's not fun. I'm kind of bored. I find myself tuning out. The Courtney and Travis. Everyone's saying Travis is cheating on Courtney, but those are just rumors. We don't know if that's true. I mean, I highly doubt it, but they're saying they worry for her. So Kim just had a law school graduation party and apparently was like an hour away from them. And Courtney drove over there and can only stay 30 minutes or an hour because she had to drive an hour and a half back to be next to her baby. What the freak is wrong with Courtney and her freaking baby? Get a grip. You're not the first or last person to have a baby. I'm sorry. Most mothers would enjoy time away from their baby. Let's keep it real. You love your baby, but holy shit. Who wants to be cooped up with their baby on their nipple 24 hours a day? Like, that's not fun. Like, oh my God, she's acting psychotic. And Courtney's like my favorite Kardashian. And she's getting on my damn nerves with this allocated time and constantly reminding you why she has to go home. Like, like in Chloe's words, shut the fuck up. I am on Courtney and Kim's side. I mean, Chloe and Kim's side, and I'm never on Chloe and Kim's side. Courtney needs to get a grip and cut it out. Just cut it out. Nobody gives a shit about your baby and how long you left him, and then when you're timing and how you have to get. There's a thing called pumping, and you have 5,000 nurses and babysitters, and like just go enjoy your time for once. Jesus, it's like insane. I gotta go, but I gotta go, but I gotta go. Oh, and then they didn't sit her next to Kim, and she's like, I'm sitting next to her lawyer. I mean, no offense to her, I don't even know her. Like, why am I gonna stay? It's like constant complaining. It's just like, I miss the old Courtney, the hot AF Courtney in her hot era when she was with that guy Eunice. She was bomb.com. And she's like, I wasn't happy then. I'm like, well, we were. We were very happy watching you, copying your outfits, looking how hot you. I mean, she was the hottest Kardashian, hands down, hottest Kardashian. And now she's like, Grandma complain a lot. Jesus, I cannot with her. It's like too much. It's too much. And it's a shame because her light has been dimmed. You know, you have all the resources, you can have a balance. What is this like not leaving your kid has to sleep with you? Like whatever, do whatever you want, but like let's be flexible. Let's be flexible. Let's have fun when you're with in your words, like let's be present. You're at Kim's party. Why don't you just be present at the party and stop it? Like it doesn't matter if you get home 2 hours later. It really doesn't. It really doesn't. And you have all the resources that it sure doesn't matter. You have pumps and you have other people and you could just like call it a day. Like stop it. I wonder if Travis gets annoyed with that. I wonder if he's like, listen, you're a little overboard. You're a little overboard with this. Like I would have never had a baby with you if I thought you were going to turn into this psychotic. Like, you know? Yeah. We need to talk to Travis. Everyone thinks Travis is a narcissist and he's controlling. I don't get it. I don't know why. I still haven't seen any good explanation as to why they think that. They're saying that he controls everything on the down low subtly, but I don't see that. I don't know. And they're saying like her family doesn't act comfortable around him. Um, and then Scott was in the show, which was another so stupid. Why don't they just hang out, go have lunch? Like, we don't need a plot, if that makes sense. Isn't that the point of reality? Like, just be yourselves and just hang out. And like, that's what we want. You guys are entertaining if you're yourselves. You're not entertaining when it's all commercials. It's all bullshit. You're not talking about real life. They haven't talked about Diddy. They haven't talked about 50 Cent. They haven't talked about a lot of stuff. Um, Scott. He looks like super pale. He looks I feel bad for Scott. I do and I don't. Like his choices have brought him to where he is, but I don't know. I don't know. But the stupid plot they were talking about was him getting off vaping. I'm like, oh my God, are you freaking kidding me? It's so silly. And then he went to hypnotist. It's like, okay. I don't know. They've lost their, what do you call that? Their mojo. They've lost their mojo. It's not the same. It's all work events. It's all, I don't know. I will say though, with annoying as Courtney is, her scene with Travis traveling to where he grew up and his family home was the most interesting part of the episode. So she's still carrying the show. Let's be real. So Courtney is entertaining and she has substance. Like, you know, it's not just, I don't know, for whatever reason, she's more entertaining because she keeps it more real. Even though she's being a raging lunatic, she's a real raging lunatic. So it's more enjoyable to watch. It was so weird when they went to his childhood home that his aunt now lives in, and they're like, let's knock on the door. And it's like, oh, it's his aunt. It's like, you didn't give your aunt the heads up. Like, what? It was so weird. It's like, okay, that's awkward. Anyways, I'll leave you with one last thought. A Colombian woman that's 123 years old, she says that the secret to her health and youth is eating plantains every day. So do with that what you will. She eats plantains and she's 123 years old. That's freaking crazy. Can you imagine being 123 years old? And she's like walking, talking. She's no, she, if it is plantains, it's working. Like, I don't know what plantains have, but she's looking good. So that's amazing. And I will see you next time. Joy to the world. Bye.